If you need to travel to the UK as a nurse aide and you're planning this journey as a couple, then this session is going to help you to understand what it takes to go as a couple. Hello and welcome. My name is Kuda. I've recently moved to the UK, and a lot of people, they ask me the question that, oh, while you're there, how did you do it? How did you manage and things like that? And one of the important questions that people ask is, how much did it cost you to get there? So in my previous video, I've done a video on how much it costs and how to create a timeline, and also break down the cost of someone who is single, a person who is not married, who is not who doesn't have kids and things like that. In this video, we're going to be focusing really on a couple, okay? Someone who is married and someone who has kids, and they are looking to move into the UK as a nurse aide. So I'm gonna try and break down all the nitty-gritties of what you need to know to travel as a couple. So before you continue with this video, I want you to understand something. Number one, I'm not a sponsor, okay? I don't look for jobs on behalf of people. And number two, I'm not an employer, okay? And then number three, I'm not an agent. I don't collect money on behalf of someone in the name of promising them that you will get a job in the UK and things like that. And what I'm just sharing in this session is basically what I've gone through, okay? I'm just sharing my experience, and tell you what, I promise you that my videos or this information, this piece of information may have some mistakes, okay? And if it has some mistakes, please forgive me. If I make a mistake, correct me in the comment section. And anything that I'm going to be sharing, okay, I'm not liable or responsible for any losses or damage caused directly or indirectly through the information I'm sharing in this video. I'm just doing this for education purposes, and I hope you understand. With that out of the way, I would love to know your name and which city you are from, okay? In the comment section, just comment your name and which city you're joining from, and some of the burning questions that you may have now, and then maybe I make sure that I address them in this session. So yeah, let us look at the couples. You know, I better explain these things when I'm actually on the computer, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna head over to my computer, to my computer desk, and then I'm gonna open up a sheet, and then I want you to take some notes and make sure that you understand exactly what I'm doing and write down with me. So think about this for a moment. If you're going to call me, this is how I do it when I'm actually helping someone or for consultant services. If they want to sit down with me over coffee or over a phone, I'm going to explain definitely how I would help a couple, the type of questions that I would ask them, and the type of planning that I would set for them in order for them to travel to UK as a nurse aide. So yeah, let's get on my computer and get these things rolling. Are you ready? Comment in the comment section that you're ready. I need to hear that. Are you ready? Yeah, I guess you are ready. Let's get on my computer, okay? Now I'm actually on my computer, so we're looking at a couple, okay, that wants to go to UK as nurse aides. So before I actually share about this, I want to let you know about the IELTS lessons that we are teaching. Okay, we are teaching IELTS for preparation. So just go to Nyare Online and IELTS lesson. Just go to nyareonline.com, and then you can actually sign in or sign up so that you can learn more about these lessons. And as well, we have a very good thriving Facebook group which has got a lot of engagement. I post a lot of updates here. Make sure you're part of this Facebook group. It's called IELTS Preparations Lessons Zimbabwe with Coach Nyari. And then if you access this website, if you have access to this website, you're going to come across these two sections. We've got a lot of amazing information. So this video, including the videos that I've actually done in the past, they are actually, I'm putting them here where it says FAQ UK visa care workers, and then these are IELTS lessons, online lessons. And then also like if you click here, you're going to be taken to this page. So this page is with this video, how to book IELTS, how to conduct an online interview, early stages, what you need to do in terms of planning as early stages. And in the previous session that I actually did, I was explaining how to plan your journey when you are a single person. No kids, no kids, no wife, no husband, and you're just alone. So in this case, we're looking at couples. So now I want you to think about this. Okay, I wanted to do a little bit of write up so that I can get ahead of time and things like that. So I then said, wait a second. Want to make sure that this is coming from my head. Okay, so I've done consultation with a lot of couples that have gone to the UK, and so I want to pretend as if I'm doing that to you. Okay, I want to pretend as if I'm doing that to you and make sure that I break this down for you so that you can get an estimate amount of money that is needed when actually planning to go to the UK as a nice aide as a couple. So it's a question that most of the people that have gone to the UK cannot give you answer to. I'm going to be honest with you because you're not doing justice to them. There's a lot of things that goes into it. Okay, so now if you say, okay, let's just hear a comment, just comment in the comment section, say yes, let's go ahead. Can I see a lot of yeses there? Okay, I can see a lot of yeses there. So now basically the basic requirements of someone who is going to the UK as a nurse aide, these are the requirements that are needed. Okay, valid passport, updated CV, TB test, UKVI, IELTS test results, training and degree, care certificates, standards, and things like that. So I want to talk about, before I jump into how couples can actually plan this and cost, I want to talk about I want to bring this a little bit to your attention. Okay, and make sure that if you are a couple, number one, make sure you watch the video. I want to make sure that you watch the video that I spoke about. Watch this video, which is called Mindset. Okay, how to maintain a healthy mindset, that I did. So in this session, in this video, I was actually talking about how to stay ahead and stay positive irrespective of the plannings and things like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna cover some notes before I actually jump into this, because this is really important for couples. Okay, so what I want to understand is that couples fight. Okay, and I have so many cases when I'm actually trying to speak to a couple over coffee, over a phone call. Someone says, my husband doesn't understand, my wife doesn't understand, and things like that. And I'm trying to explain a simple thing, he is not understanding. I'm trying to explain a simple thing, she's not understanding, and things like that. So when couples fight, when you fight, I'm going to tell you that it's normal. Okay, I haven't helped any couple that were not thinking otherwise. Okay, so you need to make sure that as a couple, the first thing that you need to make sure you understand, number one, is the mindset. Maintaining a healthy state of mind is actually planning this journey. And then the other thing that I want you to understand is that I want you to make sure that at this time of your planning, you need to work together. Okay, you need to work together. Okay, when I'm actually working with a couple, if I hear that the wife is sort of blaming the husband, or the husband is sort of blaming the wife, I'm gonna tell you something. Both of you, you need advice. Okay, both of you need advice, and both of you need help. Irrespective you're correct, irrespective you're right. Okay, here's what I'm gonna tell you. I had a chance to speak to a certain couple that I was actually assisting. Okay, so the wife was really explaining in a very good way, but the husband was not understanding. But I'll tell you, the wife, in her explanation, she was missing out some of the important information that she was supposed to explain, and things didn't go well. Okay, so sometimes in terms of your explanation to your husband, you may not explain properly, or your explanation to your wife, you may not be explaining properly. Okay, so this is why this video is going to help you. I'm going to take time. Okay, I'm not in a rush. If you're in a rush, please go ahead and do something else, but I want to make sure that I give you all the information that I have. So let me just give you one use case. I'm going to give you one use case of a couple that I actually assisted. So in this case, their setup was like this. Okay, it was a couple, and then the wife was the one who was invited to the UK. So it was the relatives. Okay, relatives of the wife. Okay, they invited the wife to say, can you come to the UK? And then in the process, the husband felt like, huh, I'm trying to understand this process. It appears that these people, they're actually getting ahead of me. Okay, and as they're getting ahead of me, I want to make sure that what is my wife going to do there? I don't want her to go and things like that. And then, that's when challenges actually starts. Okay, so the wife now was saying, my husband doesn't want me to go and things like that. So I had to speak to the husband, and I said, you know what? Take it easy, boss. Take it easy. Keep calm. Keep calm. One thing that you need to understand, the relatives for your wife that have invited you to the UK and that are trying to help you, is they have done a huge favor. And just because they understand some of the processes, they understand some of the, you need to understand that they understand some of the processes that you need to take through, and they are helping you, and they've done a huge favor. So take it easy. So now the husband now was actually doing the nurse aide training on his own, trying to write IELTS test, while the wife didn't know, because he was like, oh, my wife is going, so I'm gonna do my own thing on the sideline so that we can go together. Okay, so those things happen. So I told him, no, take it chill pill. Okay, make sure you support your wife in whatever she's doing. Okay, make sure that you can actually go as a spouse, okay, under her visa. Okay, so the process, I'm gonna remind you again, the process needs you to be working together. Don't forget that. Okay, you're gonna have a lot of instances whereby you don't work to, you don't agree so many things. So I've done this process with my wife. I tell you that it was on so many cases when we fought until we go to the UK. We were still disagreeing on some things. When we're at the airport, how many bags do we need? Please pack those clothes, leave those clothes. I need this kind of food. I don't carry that kind of food. We need money. Don't go and buy that. You're wasting money. All those conversations, they actually happened in our in our journey. But at the end of the day, I would go back to my wife and tell her sorry several times, so that we make sure that this journey is actually a successful. Okay, so I want to tell you that as couples, there's so many use cases. Another couple is whereby a situation whereby when the offer comes to the wife, and then she's like, you know what, I'm gonna run away from this guy, and things like that. But no, you don't have to do that. Make sure that you are working together, praying together, and making sure that this journey becomes a success. So let me just go ahead to my presentation again. Someone is saying, how you're talking about me exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what happens as a couple. You need to make sure that you do this together. So now going back to the advice. Okay, so this is again one thing that I need to tell you before I start calculating the amount of money that is needed. I want to give a little bit of advice, and I'm going to tell you that this is not my 100% advice to you, but it's just my thinking. Okay, so there's so many cases of couples that have been actually helping. Someone is outside Zimbabwe, and then the husband is in Zimbabwe, or the wife is in Zimbabwe, someone is outside Zimbabwe, and they're trying to work this out so that they can actually travel. Some of them, they're actually in Zimbabwe together and things like that. So a lot of people, this is how they plan it. Okay, they say one person can go. I want one person to go, and then you see how things are. Okay, and then we follow with the kids. Okay, so basically that's how most people look at it that way. Okay, they say, let's say the wife is going, yeah, I'm gonna support you, you can go, once things go out, then I can follow. Okay, and then those are some of the plans that a lot of couples do. And then some of them, they say, we go as a couple, and then we leave the kids, and then we get the kids later. Okay, we get the kids later. Okay, so this is another option that a lot of some people actually go for. Yeah, and so now I would say, if I was given a choice, I would say go for this option, for the second option. Go as a couple and leave the kids. I'm gonna tell you about this because it's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying it's 100%. Now, a lot of people, when they're in Zimbabwe, they say money. We don't have money, we just want one person to go and things like that. And this is one thing that I want to tell you for sure, and that you want to understand. I'll give you a use case. A use case that I have is of a couple. Okay, so if you're going to calculate the amount of money that you can spend as a couple to get to UK, compared to the money that someone can spend when they get here alone. It's pretty. It's something that I've actually experienced. A very good example: someone bought a car for £400. Okay, for £400, and just because she was a new driver, okay, her insurance, she paid a lot of money. Like, her insurance per year was like £5,000. Okay, it was like £5,000. That's for insurance. Now, I want you to understand that this one went as a they're a couple, but the wife went first. No, now insurance is charged based on your age. It's charged as well based on the number of years you have been driving. So your driver's license says the number of years. So now, if you look at someone who is like 19 years old, okay, we just got married, or someone who has got a license, who took their license like 2 months ago, okay, and they need to buy a car and they need to go to work and do a domiciliary, something like that, okay, they may need a car. Okay, so if your driver's license is pretty new, your insurance is going to be very high. Okay, however, if you go as a couple, this is what happens. Let's say you my wife, okay, no, I'm just kidding, I'm not saying your wife is my wife, come on, it's just a comment. Okay, let's say let me laugh, yes, I'm just kidding. Okay, I really love to throw jokes, eh? Yeah, interesting. So I'll tell you a joke on as we go on as well. So now let's say I'm married, okay, and then I come with my wife. I've got 10 years experience of driving. Okay, 10 years experience of driving, and my wife is like a month old in driving. Okay, she just got a driver's license. So when we get here, we buy the car, okay, and then register the car in my name, okay, and then you can actually say that this car has got 2 drivers. Okay, just because here I've indicated that I've got 10 years of experience, and then my wife here has got 1 month experience, and then this car has got 2 drivers. Just because of my experience in driving, the insurance is going to be very cheap. Okay, it can be less than £1,000, or even slightly higher than £1,000. Okay, this money is charged per year. Okay, this is actually a yearly fee. This is 5,000 per year. Okay, this 5,000 per year, and at the same time, you can pay on a monthly basis, and then the monthly basis is slightly high. And again, guys, I'm just telling you about my experience. Okay, this information may seem to be corrected, but this is what I actually experienced. And then I'm going to give you a very good example as well on a couple that got here. So it was like this. Okay, this couple, the wife just got a new license. Okay, it was a new driver's license, and then she was supposed to do door to door. And then when she got here, she wanted to learn how to drive the manual car and then get used to the roads and things like that. But instead, the husband had to chip in. And show his wife how to drive around, and the husband also had to drive the wife as well, around to do her duties. Okay, so now if you are going to be together, okay, you can face any sort of challenge together, and they say 2 people are better than 1. And then again, another situation can be like this. Let's say your salary is $4 per month. Okay, let's say your salary is $4 per month. That's one person who is getting salary. Okay, and then the other person's salary, now if both of you are working, is, let's say, $4 as well. So that means as a household you have $8. Okay, as a household you have got $8. Okay, it simply means that when you get your money at by month end as a household, you have more money that you have actually gotten. So in some cases, let me just put equal sign here. In some cases, if you come alone, you are earning $4, and then from the $4 you need to take your rent, you need to take your food, you need to take money for taxi, you need to take money for insurance, you need to take money for this, for that, and then from that same $4, this is the money probably that you're supposed to send back home to the family so that they can prepare the papers to actually come and join you. So otherwise, in short, I would say, you know what, try and work as a couple and travel as a couple, and then you're going to experience a lot of situations whereby you realize that you needed each other. So in this case, I'm gonna tell you guys, if you're married, your husband is gonna need you, your wife is gonna need you. So you're gonna be doing a lot of exchange. So be nice to each other. Come on, be nice. Hey, be nice. Come on, I said be nice. Oh, come on. Can I see some comments coming in? Can you leave a comment that says, could I say it, be nice? Be nice. Come on. Yeah. You can take your better half, your wife, or whoever should watch this, guys. Mention their name so that they go through this as well. Yeah. So I recommend you go as a couple. And again, at the end of the day, once you get to the UK, you're supposed to make a decision. Okay? You're supposed to make a decision. Let me tell you the decision that you're supposed to make. This decision that you're supposed to make when you get to the UK is the question that says, is UK for us or not? Is UK for us or not? Okay? So, I mean, most of us guys, or most of you guys that are traveling to UK as an SA, you're going for greener pastures and something like that. So, as they always say, the grass always looks greener on the other side. Okay? In some cases, you may get here and find out that, oh, I wish I would be back in Zimbabwe. So that's a decision that can be best taken by two people. Okay, that's a decision that can be taken best by two people. And if you agree on that, it's really difficult for someone to tell you on the phone to say, it's like this. Come and experience it on your own. And also, you get to experience and see and have first-hand information and make decisions on that. I love how some men actually really love to, in fact, tonga, you get it, it's like a smooth kid, you get tonga. So, you want to be there and make that decision. Hey, sweetheart, we are going back home. I've seen what life is like here. I appreciate we've done the process. Let's go back home. Or let's soldier on with with life and see what unfolds. So basically, that's what's very, very deep. Hey. Okay. If you have any questions, please go ahead and leave them for me. So now we're coming back to this list. Now we're gonna do a lot of calculations. Now, if I look at a couple, this is the list that I've done when it comes to a person who is single, okay, who doesn't have kids, not married, and just a person who is single. Now, when it comes to a couple, there's a lot of things that we need to add here, okay? What we need to add number 13. We need to add marriage certificate. Okay, I'm going to tell you why you need a marriage certificate. Okay, and then also we need to add number 14. We need to add kids. Okay, we need to add kids. Okay, and then also we need to add what do you call it, guardianship. Yeah, I'm going to explain what guardianship is. Okay, guardianship, is that how you spell guardianship? Please correct me, guys. Okay, guardianship. Okay, I'd say custodian. Let me just use the custodian. Oh, yeah, that's custodian. So basically, when I'm actually speaking to someone who is a couple or who is married, okay, I kind of go personal with on my consultation call. I actually ask for permission. Hi, I'm going to ask you a bit of personal questions. I'm sure you'll be okay if I ask you this. Okay, are you married? Do you have any kids? Or and then I go like, okay, among those kids, do you have kids that are outside marriage? Okay, kids, a very good example is a situation whereby someone gets married and they have a kid from a previous marriage. Okay, so that's what I'm actually going to be explaining. Okay, and then basically let me just see this list. Now we need to look at this. Now we need to look at a situation whereby we say applicant. Okay, we say applicant. Okay, applicant is the person who is going. Okay, in most cases actually is the wife. It's high. There are some chances whereby there is a husband that is going, and yeah. And then here we look at dependents as well. Dependents. Now we are looking at the husband and the kids. Okay, so we need to come up with a list of how we are going to do this. And now someone might be asking a question like, should I make myself the main dependent, okay, or should I make my husband the main dependent? Okay, so from my observation when I go to the UK, I've realized that most of the work in the nurse aid space is more on the women's side. Okay, rakarerekera to the kuvanhu vechikadzi more, okay, than to guys. And then I've realized as well that most guys really they really don't want to go through the process of they really don't want to go through the process of doing all these steps, English test, going through the exercise, going through for nurse aid training and things like that. I think it's because in Zimbabwe most men are the hustlers, they are looking for the money and things like that. So there's this kind of joke that we posted on our WhatsApp group where we said, you know what, the wife actually, in fact someone posted, the wife was like, you know what, I wish I could just get my husband to write this English test for me. and then the other person actually replied to say, my husband was even telling me that, hey, I'm paying $338 and make sure you pass, make sure you pass, otherwise if you fail, it won't end well because I've spent a lot of money on this. Like I said, at the end of this day, at the end of this session, you're gonna learn, you're gonna know how much it is. Okay, so now let us move forward. So if you are gonna be planning your journey, I would recommend that make your wife the applicant, the person who is gonna be going to do the work, because the work is more on the, yes, there are jobs for husbands, there are jobs for men, there are jobs for men, but what it means is that if the main applicant is the one who is attached to the contract, okay, and if you're the man, you're not attached to any contract, you can find something else that you want to do or stay at home or whatever you need to do. Okay, so let me just clear that. Now let's look at the applicant. So now when I'm speaking to a couple, okay, let me just put the list of things that needs to be done here. Okay, list. So what I do is I come up with a timeline, list and timeline. Okay, make sure you take a pen and paper and okay, and follow through. Kula is going to explain this in a way that you understand, and I'm glad that you guys are here. If you're enjoying this, please leave a comment that say this is amazing. Okay, so if you look at this document, we're going to cover some of the important things. So now when you're working as a couple, you need a marriage certificate. So that's the first thing that I ask. Do you have a marriage certificate? Are you married? Not customarily married. And then if you say no, then definitely you need to go through that process. And in this case, I guess it's going to be something that is very, very small. Okay, so you need to get that in place. Okay, if you are married, you've got a marriage certificate, then that's fine. And then you just tick that. And then kids, how many kids do you have? Okay, and how many of them do have passport? How many of them don't have passport? When are their passport expiring? Okay, so all that constitutes to the amount. And then when it comes to custodian or custodianship or guardianship, okay, let's say you are the let me just say this is the husband. Will I be able to draw someone like who looks like a husband? Like your husband. Let me see if I can draw someone who looks like your husband, or someone who looks like your wife. Okay, this is your wife. Okay, someone is saying, hey Kuda, my wife doesn't look like that. No, let me put a skirt. Okay, oh, now does she look like this? Oh, this one doesn't have eyes. Let me put eyes here. Okay, this is your wife, and then this is your husband. Okay, you're planning this. Oh, will I be able to draw some shorts here? Oh no. Oh, someone is saying my husband doesn't look like that. Could I please come on? Oh, let me try and fix the head. Okay. Oh, let me put some hair there. Oh, I'm just joking. Okay, fine. Okay, so now this is the husband. Now, let's say you are married to someone who had kids from a previous relationship. okay? Or you got married and you had kids from actually previous relationship now, and then when you got married again, you had your kids as well, yeah. Okay, and in some cases probably this kid is staying somewhere else, or this kid is staying somewhere else, or you are staying together as a household. Okay, so what this means is that these kids, they need what is known as custodianship. Okay, oh, what happened there? I hope this is not gonna, okay, these kids, they need what is known as custodianship. Okay, my drawings are gone. I'm not gonna draw you again, sorry. So now these kids, they need to have what is known as custodianship, or what's the other word again? Guardianship. No, guardianship is a document that you get from the court. You just go to a local court to say, I need custodianship for my kids, okay? Or you go to through a lawyer, okay, that can help you to do that and explain what it means. Now, it's a type of a document that allows you to say you are the one who is looking after these kids. And then when you're doing your visa applications, you can actually attach that. Now, to get the custodianship, it simply means you have to contact the parents or the parent, so that they can actually sign that document. If they refuse, you can actually go through the court. Even if they don't refuse, they're actually agreeing to say, yes, you're staying with the kid and you've been taking care of the kid, you can travel with the kid. They have to sign that document as well, and that is done through the court. It's not like you're taking someone to the court to be judged and things like that, but the procedure or the process is done through the court. The decision is made through the court. So just go to your local court or contact your lawyer, so that they can actually do that process. Now, there is another, again, a situation whereby, let's say your wife, let me just say W, or your husband, H here, okay, he has got a brother, or your wife has got a brother or sister, and that person probably passed away, or they're less privileged, or whatever the case, and you are staying with their child, okay, you're staying with their kid. This kid as well, if you're planning to travel, they need custodianship, okay, and then the custodianship is signed by their parents and things like that. So this can be from the wife's side, this can be from the husband's side, like kids for relatives that you stay with. Probably the parents passed on, or whatever, they've got physical disabilities, whatever the case. Yeah, you just have to check on that. So wow, this is a lot of information actually. Okay, I can see it's a lot of information. So if you're enjoying this, guys, please just comment and say thank you, Kuda. Just that. Give these love hearts, please don't be sad. Don't give that sad emoji. So now let us look at the timeline. Now, the timeline here, I'm gonna say this. I'm actually doing this video in late September, so I'm just gonna say October. Let's say someone is actually starting this process. So I'm gonna go by. You need to start off with. This is October 2022. Okay. You need to start off by looking at aide training and attachment. Now this goes to the applicant. Okay. This goes to the applicant. It could be the wife or the. Let me just say here, applicant. Okay. I could say applicant here. Okay. You need to start off with that. Okay, now aide training, some people are actually doing this online, okay, and I'm actually, at the time I'm actually doing this, I'm trying to negotiate with one of the companies here in the United Kingdom, so that they can offer aide training online, so that you don't have to spend a lot of time in school trying to do this. Okay, so aide, some people are doing it online and then they do the attachment. So let us give, for benefit doubt, let us say this is 250. Let's put it on 300. Okay, let's put it on 300, and then this is going to take you about 2 months. Let's just put it on 2 months, maybe 1 month of learning, and then another month of attachment, or to be most precise, maybe 3 months. Okay, so if you say October, November, December, now December is another time, is another, and then here this person, I'm gonna be honest with you, you need to give them pocket money. Okay, if she's your wife, please. Should I speak that on a very low voice, or should I increase my voice? You need to give your money pocket money. You need to give your wife pocket money. Should I be louder? Ladies, comment in the comment section if I should be louder. You need to give your wife pocket money.
Oh, they are saying I should be loud. You need to give your wife pocket money. Okay, now I'm gonna be honest with you guys. During this process, okay, you need to give your wife pocket money. It could be any amount. I'm gonna say 50 or 100. She needs money to go up and down, to buy uniforms, to buy airtime and things like that, as she's doing the nurse aide training. There's a lot of downloads that she has to do, a lot of photocopies that she has to do, a lot of learning that she has to do. So pocket money can cover the internet and things like that. Okay, somebody saying repeat that could aloud. Okay, you need to give your wife pocket money. Okay, I guess they've heard that. Okay, now in December 2022, let me say December 2022. Now we need to look at, okay, right now you have a gap of about 2 months here. Let me just see if I can add on to this. If I can say here October, November, so that you don't waste time here. Okay, October, November. What you need to do in October, November 2022, okay, you need to get passports. Okay, passports. Okay, that is if I'm gonna put in brackets, I would say applicant and kids. So now you need to look at the fact, how many kids do you have and how many passports do you need, okay, so that you process these passports, including I would say applicants and dependents. Okay, dependents, maybe your husband does not have a passport, but in most cases these men, they do have passport. So in November you actually do that, and then in November again you do the marriage process, marriage certificate. Okay, marriage certificate. So in some cases it really depends on the type of wedding you want to do. I guess, guys, for us this will save us a lot of money. I promise you, if you're gonna follow my advice here, you're gonna save a lot of money. So you just need, for the sake of saving money and for the sake of this process, you just need to do the court wedding, which needs you, your wife, and 2 witnesses. That's all you need. That's all, nothing else. And that alone, you need to calculate the costs and how much they charge and things like that. So, and then you can actually put their amount right there. And I remember one guy, when he went to do this court wedding, he was actually wearing jeans. He didn't know that he is supposed to he's supposed to wear formal, and then he had to borrow someone a pair of pants, and then so it's amazing. So again, you do the marriage certificate. So if I come here, I'm gonna come here and see if I can actually bold this and put this in red, because we say the marriage certificate has been done. Okay, if you have this, then you need to skip that. So that is during this time, I'm sure you guys can find some fillers where you can actually do this. Okay, where you can actually do this. And then somewhere in November you need to book ELTS exam. Okay, somewhere in December, I mean, and to book this exam is 338. Okay, so if you are going to book somewhere in December, it's likely that so you can actually switch if you want. If you want, you can actually switch to say you're gonna book your IELTS here. But if you do that, the nurse aide training and the attachment is gonna take a lot of your time as well. So you don't want to do a little bit of mix there, so that you can actually get yourself confused. And then once you book IELTS, and remember, you just need an ID. Even if your passport is not ready, you can actually use your ID to book this. And 338 excluding charges. Okay, excluding charges, I'd say charges. So let me just explain the charges. So now, when you're actually paying this is done online. I've actually done a video on that explains how this is done. So charges, I think they are about $25 to $30. So when paying for this, you need money for charges, because the payment is done online via Visa card. Okay, so here we say that this is now done. Okay, and the reason why you need to start off with this is because this one expires after 2 years. Okay, once you get it. So if they book in December, definitely they are likely to write in end of January. Let me say January. That is if you are going to be doing your that is 2023 right now. That is if you're going to write your exams in in Zimbabwe. Okay, now if you do it in Zambia or South Africa, you can book today and get an early date like next week or things like that. So let's say here, this is when the IELTS exam is happening, IELTS test. Okay, so now the cost for IELTS test depends on where you have actually booked. Okay, it depends on where you're actually booked. Some people stay in Harare and they go and book in Bulawayo, so they need money to travel and they need money for hotel and things like that. And then in between here, when you are 1 month, from your when you are 1 month from your test, 1 month from IELTS exam, make sure you start lessons. Okay, so I'm forgetting to put something important here. So I would say here, this goes to the applicant. Okay, the dependent does not do any of the English lessons. I would say here, applicant. Okay, so if your wife is going as a nurse aide, you don't need to do the English test and things like that. And then the test happens, and then we are charging lessons. Currently, we are charging lessons $70 at the time that I'm actually doing this video. Or if I'm going to do it online, the $70 lessons are going for face-to-face, where these are the lessons that we're actually offering here. Okay, so let me go back here, and then if you're going to do it online, it's $100. Okay, so make sure you start your lessons 1 month. I would say 1 month here. Let me just say 1 month. 1 month from your exam dates. Okay, you start your lessons. The reason I say 1 month, we do our lessons over 2 weeks. Now, let's say you start 2 weeks lessons, and then you find out that there's some areas that you need help with. You have another 2 weeks to start learning, to revise your work and things like that. And then if you don't have this money to pay, you can use YouTube to watch videos and learn as well, or you can buy books, download books online. Whatever method you use, make sure you don't get to the exam without doing any sort of lessons. It's really pretty up to you, but we are offering very great lessons. And yeah, so you do the test somewhere in January. And then if I come back to this list again, while we are waiting for this test, so let's say end of January, or maybe somewhere here, let me just say February 2023. If you do your things like this, trust me, you're gonna make so much progress, because a lot of people, when they're doing this, they think that it's just something that can be done today and tomorrow you're going and things like that. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, and then here, while you're waiting for the IELTS results. Okay, while you're waiting for the IELTS results, make sure now you work on TB test, and then police clearance. TB test and police clearance. Okay, now this goes to the applicant. I would say applicant and dependents. So if you're planning to go together, your husband now or your wife has to be done the TB test and then police clearance. Applicant and dependent. Okay, so this is needed. Now let's just go back here. The TB test has been done. Okay, I'm going to explain a little bit why this is done on a later stage. Okay, I would say yeah, this is done. Okay, so I want you to understand something. So let's say if we start with TB test and police clearance in the first month, in the very first month, you're going to realize that a TB test and police clearance takes 6 months to expire. Okay, so now if we calculate October, November, December, January, February, and then somewhere around March, that's when your TB test is going to expire if you take it in October. So you may still be in the process of doing your papers whilst your TB test is about to expire. So you need to do this on a later stage and make sure that these documents, they come out almost the same time as your IELTS results. Okay, so now when you do it around February, that means they expire somewhere in August. Then by August you would have traveled, and then English test takes 2 years to expire. I hope you understand what I mean there. Okay, so let us go back to our list again here. Okay, let's go back to our list, and then while you're waiting for the I'm saying waiting for the IELTS results, I would say do the care certificate. So now there is the care certificates that you need to do that I've actually written here. Okay, the care standard certificates. This is a requirement, and you need to check with your sponsor or employer, but some of them, they require that you do this. Some of them, they ask you to do this when you have engaged with them, but some people are actually doing this ahead of time. Okay, and we offered this as well. We have a company that we agreed with to partner with in the United Kingdom, and they are offering these lessons, and at the time that I'm doing this video, these lessons are $80. So this is only for the applicant. Okay, they are a requirement. This is different from the nurse aid training that you do at the beginning. It's something that is different that you need to work on. Okay, so again, here at the same point, let us look at the driver's license. Okay, driver's license, and then the kids. We said kids here. We have actually mentioned the kids that you need to do TB test, and kids, for kids, they don't do police clearance. They don't. Yeah, but I would say here and kids, dependent and kids. That is if you're planning to travel with the kids, but if you're not, then you need to do that later. Okay, and then when you look at the driver's license, okay, the driver's license, you need to fit in somewhere in between where you are less busy. Okay, so if I look at this calendar, this person is booked in the month of December. They've booked IELTS. If they don't have a driver's license, here you need to do the driver's license process. Okay, and then here you can just put the amount, okay, including the lessons and things like that, including the lessons, driver's license process, including the lessons and the tests and things like that. And then you also need to work on getting your license disc as well. License disc as well. You can do this on a later stage actually, but you just need to find somewhere where you can fit it. Let me see. Maybe if you can fit this somewhere in February, it's really up to you. Okay, the reason why you need to get the license disc is because when you get your license, you get a paper, okay, and then you need a disc. So you go to CVR in Harare, and then you just explain to them that you're doing an application to travel outside the country. Can you please help me with a license disc? And they're going to tell you the process and the procedures and the requirements that they need you to do so that they can actually help you with this. Okay, and then somewhere here again, once you get the license disc, you need to get the international driver's license. Okay, the international driver's license, I'm gonna put it somewhere here in December. Okay, so the amount here is about $70, but I recommend that they've got different prices. I think they've got 30, 40, and $70. $70 is for 1 day. And if you live in Zimbabwe, if you have RTGS that you can use to swipe, if you've got a swipe card, make sure that you use a swipe card. People in Zimbabwe, they understand what I mean. Okay, instead of using US dollars, they do accept US dollars. Okay, so let me just put some things here that I think that I need not to forget. Photocopies and photos. Okay, just gonna come back here and talk about that later. Okay, now let us come back to our list. Right now we have got the driver's license, not expired. Okay, we have done that. We have actually added that, and then the police clearance, and then the passport. We have actually taken the passport. Let me just put that in red. Okay, and then when you have these issues of custodianship, okay, you need to make sure that you do that. Okay, And then somewhere in November, I would also say custodianship, the documents, custodianship for the kids. If you have the case that are actually explained, you just need to explain that. And probably this is travel money that you need to go up and down. I'm not going to put any price there. Okay. And then I'm going to also emphasize on pocket money. There's need for pocket money. There's need for pocket money if someone is living in Zimbabwe. So I have a situation whereby in some cases I have someone in the UK assisting a friend or relative with finances in Zimbabwe. So I've lived in both worlds. I mean, my longest time I've lived is in Zimbabwe, and I'm just new in the United Kingdom. And I kind of understand right now the situation of how people work very hard here for money, and at the same time how people are in need of money in Zimbabwe. And in some cases, you find out that in Zimbabwe, someone can really go dry and not find $1 to put money on their phone for airtime or transport and things like that. So pocket money is really important. When you're actually assisting someone, just make sure that you say, okay, I'm sending you this money for TB test, but I'm putting a little bit of something so that you can get something to go by. I'm just being honest. Okay. Yeah. It is what it is. Okay. It is what it is. You're not forced to send pocket money, but take it from me. And then vaccination. Okay, so the vaccination, I'm not really sure if this is important because when I traveled, I wasn't asked for vaccination. But what I did was I just did the vaccination so that if I'm asked for it, I produce it. Like when I get to the airport, have you been vaccinated? And I'm going to go, yeah, I've got my card. So it's a different case when you're asked, have you been vaccinated? And you say, but could I say it's not required? And my sponsor said it's not needed. So what do I do now? So I've seen a lot of people cry at the airport, because they don't have one little piece of document. Okay, so make sure that you get the vaccination. If they don't need it, that's fine. So you can try and fit in the vaccination somewhere else here. Let me just say vaccination. And then again, the vaccination has to be entered into computers. Like, the process is called entering into computers. So just say, it's done in local clinics, and but mine, I did it at Wilkins in Belvedere. Yeah, in Belvedere. Yeah. So it was just transport money. The service was free. I just needed fuel to do that. And then the vaccination is done. And then now let us look at diplomas and certificates. Okay, diplomas and certificates. Now let's say you have been a banker. Okay, now what they're simply saying is that, let's say now we have actually done all these papers, okay, all these documents, the passports, the blah 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 blah. Now somewhere in February, okay, waiting for the when you get your results. Now in February, okay, I've actually, let me just say, yeah, in February, let me just say March, February / March, right, 2023. Okay, this is when you have to do what I call documents compilation. Okay, documents compilation. Documents, how do you spell compilation? Documents compilation. Okay, so basically that's documents compilation. Let me just explain the process. So there's a cost to this, okay, depending on which route you're doing. Now what we are saying is that you're making scanned documents of each and every document that you have. Yeah, TB test, English test, care certificate, police clearance, custodianship, marriage certificate. You're actually making a compilation. Okay, so that's when the training and degree comes in play. Now the training and degree, basically they are saying they need these certificates that you acquired when you're doing your nurse aide and things like that. But again, there's what confused people here when it says diplomas. Okay, let's say you are a banker or whatever, or you're into engineering or your profession and things like that. Basically that's what they are saying. You're just compiling your profession, your certificates, your experience into one document that you are including the nurse aid training. And I've got my good friends who say, Shamar Kuda, here's my special case. I ended up in Form 2 and Nakana grade 7. I'm not even, what do I do on those documents? So If that is your case, all you need is just to produce the aide training certificate, and that's all, nothing else. Don't try and sugarcoat things to prove that you're actually educated on when you're not. Okay, but I've seen a lot of people who have not done well at school getting their visa approved as well, just by providing the aide training. Okay, so where are we at? And then proof of residence. Okay, proof of residence, basically this is the document compilation process. Now proof of residence is whereby you just show them where you stay. If you don't have proof of residence, you can just use affidavit. Okay, you can just use affidavit, that would work as well. Or you can actually buy electricity. There's a way to buy electricity in Zimbabwe that will put your name on that document. And then 2 letterhead reference. So now they need reference letters, like where they can find out information about you. Okay, so now we're looking at where you did the attachment. You can ask for a reference letter so that you can be attached to the document compilation. Or another second later, they say there 2 reference letters which has got letterheads. So now it can be another place where you worked. Okay, where you can actually get a reference so that you can actually attach them here. So now during this process, you may need to make photocopies, you may need to make scanned documents, and you may need assistance of someone to do that for you. So that, again, it really varies. It can be any amount depending on where you are, if it's in Harare or different places around Zimbabwe. And then the last thing that we don't have here is the CV, updated CV. Now when they say updated CV, look, what we have been doing here, we have been actually working on getting the driver's license, working on doing this, doing that, making sure the kids, they have got passports, and making sure this and that and things like that. Okay, so that is when you do what is known as the CV, updated CV. Okay, updated CV. You may get help of someone. Some of you are very good at typing. Okay, please don't type your own documents if you're like me, if you make a lot of mistakes like this. Okay, but yeah, I'm pretty fast when it comes to typing. So now this is basically the whole process of the document compilation if you're a married couple. Okay, now let us look at the next stage, somewhere around March and February. Okay, or end of March. Now that's when the travel happens. Okay, the travel process, now that's when it happens. Now this is when you connect with your employer. Okay, or sponsor/sponsor. Sponsors, they've got different requirements and things like that. You find out what they need and what is the process and things like that. Once you connect with them, you need to do what is known as interview. Okay, online interview. This is when I was actually explaining to you that you need to learn how to do an online interview. If you go to our website here, if you click here, and you're gonna see we have got a video that teaches you how to do an online interview, including the questions that they ask as an aide and things like that. Once that is done, they send you what is known as offer letter. And if you want me to help you to do the interview, I actually go online and interview you as if you are going to work for them, and then I can as well help you for a fee. Of course, I don't do this for free, for a fee. And then they send you an offer letter. Offer letter is just details about your contract to say we're offering a job, want to pay you this much, you'll be staying with us. If you break any of our laws, we charge you this much, and things like that. So basically that's the offer letter. And then once you sign the offer letter, you send it back to them, and then you do in-house training if they have. Okay, you do in-house training. So each employer has got an own set of doing things. Okay, they might want you to learn something, they might want you to improve on your documents and things like that. And then you do the in-house training. Once you do the in-house training, the visa application starts. You do the visa application, and then the visa application as well comes at a cost. Okay, comes at a cost. Online interview, I told you that I charge for this. Okay, so you just enter the amount, and then here your sponsor, I really don't know what are going to be the terms and conditions. You just need to check with them. Now the visa application is for there's visa application and biometrics. Okay, biometrics. Biometrics basically is just the process of doing fingerprints. Don't be scared with that word. It's not scary. Eh? So this is coming from my head, guys. I've done this over and over again. Here you need a ticket, you need accommodation, you need pocket money again. Pocket money. So now this is the pocket money when you get to the UK. I'm gonna tell you that when you get to the UK, definitely you're gonna get a little bit of a kickstart, but at the same time, when you're walking around town, you may need to buy one or two things, or maybe at the airport you get stuck, you need to call someone. You definitely need some pocket money. Like one of the things that I've been doing when I was actually traveling is that I was each time I get to an airport, and then when I need internet, when I don't want to buy the SIM card and things like that, I just go to a coffee shop, I buy a little bit of coffee, and then say, can I use your internet? And then they give me the internet. So when you don't have pocket money, you won't be able to do that. So I was able to work when I was actually at the airport, because my delay was for like 8 hours. So I was really I took a bath, and then I turned on my computer. I started working actually. And then maybe here you need a car, okay, and then you need insurance. Remember the example that I actually gave. All this that I've actually added here depends on the conditions that your sponsor actually gives you. Okay, all this depends on the sponsor, the conditions that your sponsor actually gives you. So basically, that's the whole thing that I can actually break down. So if I'm actually helping someone to start today in October, so this is October, November, December, January. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. March is 6 months. So that's a process of about 6 months in just preparation. Okay, for me, it took me about 12 months because of some of the things that I've actually explained earlier on. I mean, when you start fighting with your better half and you delay the process, someone says, so for us, because of those sort of arguments, it took us about 12 months. I'm going to be honest with you. For us, it was, if you're experiencing a lot of fights, when you're doing this process, you're not the only one, even us. Okay. So, that's about a process of 6 months. Okay. So now if I can actually come back to some of the points that I've actually done. So when actually doing this process, I wanted to make sure that you carry photocopies and passport photos of your kids, your photocopies of your ID, your passport, your driver's license, anything in terms of particulars. Make sure you carry. When I was actually moving around, I had about 10 copies of each, 10 copies of my ID, 10 copies of my passport, passport photos and things like that. There's some instances where you get to where they say, do you have a copy of your ID? Do you have a copy of your driver's license? And things like that. So a very good example is that when I was actually collecting TB tests, I realized they needed passport photos, okay, and I already had them, and in some instances they needed photocopies of ID and things like that. Now I'm going to explain why is it one of the important questions that people ask is that I'm going to talk about the international driver's license. This international driver's license, so when you get to the UK, you're supposed to exchange this disc with the British driver's license. So in that process, it's not something that happens instantly. In that process, there might be a case where you are needed to produce international driver's license, and you just need to produce. Like the way I love planning things in a way that if something is asked for, I'm able to produce it, as compared to a situation whereby if something is asked for, you start go like, but I could have done this in Zimbabwe, And one of the things that I also get asked is a driver's license important? So think about this for a second, right? Let me just give you a very good simple scenario, okay? How many people do you think right now are applying to go to the UK as nurse aides? How many people? Let's say there's a lot of people and you're the employer here, you're the boss. And then I was good, you want someone with a driver's license, right? You don't want someone with a driver's license, you just want a nurse aide. And then you've got 20 people that are applying for the same spot who has got driver's license. And then you've got 5 people who are applying for the same spot who don't have driver's licenses. So my question is, I wanted to think of all the people that are applying to go to the UK. How many of them do own driver's license? You can agree with me, there is plenty. And what do you think you're going to do if you are the employer? If you're given a choice to pick from someone who doesn't have a driver's license and someone who has a driver's license, definitely you're gonna pick from this crowd, okay, of someone who has a driver's license. So even if your employer says a driver's license is not a must, make sure that you actually do that. And then one thing that I need to emphasize as well, lastly, is that do a lot of driving lessons. Even when you get your driver's license. I mean, when you get your driver's license, do a lot of lessons and learn to drive a manual car. Okay, manual mostly. Okay, do a lot of driving lessons with a manual car. I know that a lot of people in Zimbabwe, they use automatic cars. I'm going to give you a very good example. In the United Kingdom, there is plenty of manual cars, and yes, there is automatic cars, but you know what? Just go for the beast, you know? I mean, just change my gear, just change the gears, and you'll be very, very good. And again, one thing that I can tell you again is that it's cheaper to do the driving lessons in Zimbabwe. And when you get to the UK, the first 3 months, I would say the first 3 months, there is a lot of pressure that you can actually get through. Okay, if you're gonna get to the UK, even if you're deciding to go alone, there's a lot of pressure, the adjustments and things like that. There's a lot of things that you need to learn in the first 3 months and things like that. And one last advice that I can actually give, especially if your decision is to say that I'm going to the UK alone and I'm leaving my husband behind, or I'm leaving my wife behind. I'm just giving a very good friendly advice from what I've actually picked up here. Okay, there's a lot of adjustments to be done. Okay, when I'm talking about adjustments, I'm talking about adjustment in terms of time to wake up, in terms of picking shifts, in terms of things like that. So there's kind of a lot that goes on, okay, and trying to budget things and things like that. So the first 3 months, I'm gonna say, they are pretty tough. Okay, so if you're allowing your husband to go, or you're allowing your wife to go, don't give them a lot of pressure in terms of giving financial support at home. I understand that someone is leaving their house and they're actually the breadwinner, and the moment they leave their house, then the family suffers. You know what? Just make sure you take note of that and be in this together. So I guess I've come to the end of my session, and I want to hear you guys. I guess I've actually helped you in terms of this. And then one last thing that I really want to emphasize as well is that let me just tick what a dependent needs. Okay, and then I'm going to explain the process of application as well. So dependent needs, if someone is applying, let's say you're going as the applicant and your wife is applying as a dependent, or your husband is applying as a dependent, need a marriage certificate. That's number 1. And then they need a police clearance. That's number 2. And then they need TB test. That's number 3. And then a valid passport and a driver's license, an international driver's license. That's all they need. They don't do English tests, and they don't produce the training certificates and things like that. So the process of application is like this. Someone was actually asking on the WhatsApp group, like, how is the process done? So when you're doing the visa application, you apply as an applicant on your own, like a form, an online form, through an online form. Okay, online form, through an online form. Come on, it's not from a form. Okay, and then when you want to apply as for the dependent, you are also given a separate form. Okay, where you mention the applicant name. Where you mention the applicant name to say, okay, I'm traveling because my wife is actually applying for a job and things like that. Same goes with the kids as well. So these are separate applications that are done, but they are done under like a sub form. I would say like a sub form. Let me just say a sub form. Okay, so now let us look at the cost. What is the cost? Someone may ask. That's the biggest question. What is the cost? I need to know the cost. Is the biggest question. Okay, that's a lot of people ask. Okay, the cost. A lot of people, they're not gonna give you answer to this. So the cost varies, right? The cost varies on so many instances. Like, how many kids do you have? Okay, like do your kids have passports already? Does your wife have a driver's license? So it varies from case to case, But If you want me to give you an estimate, if I actually added these figures together, 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 oh, this, the ups and downs, the pocket money. Should I repeat that again? The pocket money, ladies, should I repeat that again? Yeah, I can see someone say yes. Yes, the pocket money and the little monies that needed for photocopying, for ups and downs, for this and that, for this and that. If you're traveling as a couple, you're looking at about to go plus or minus to go K. Plus or minus 12,000. That's basically what you're looking at. If you're gonna calculate all the funds added up together and all the money that you're gonna spend, you're looking at about 12,000 and above. So it's not like this money is needed at once, but gradually, if you're gonna do a sheet. So when I was actually doing my process, I was like, when I would spend my wife airtime money, I would go and write it down. I wanted to find out how much collectively was spent. So yeah,
there you have it. I guess I've explained this information in detail. So if you watch this video alone and you want your husband or your wife to have a look at this, please make sure that you share this video with them so that they can actually watch this. And I'd love to encourage you that you can watch this video again as a couple, because of some of the things that I've explained in my session today. So with that out of the way, I'd love to thank you so much for being here. Please go ahead and leave a very nice comment of one or two things that you have learned from this video. Just say thank you, just give a review, like if I did good, if I did well, where I need to improve, and some of the mistakes that I've actually made, and any additional information that you can actually give. So go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below. With that out of the way, I can't wait to see you on more of the upcoming sessions whereby we discuss and share some of the other important information. With that out of the way, thank you so much, and subscribe to my channel, and bye for now.